A few months ago, we lost our longest running hardcore world. Oh wait, I gotta go. Aw, I totally died.
What?
And since then, me and Lee have been meticulously putting together a plan to come back even better than before, even stronger than before, surviving even longer than before. That's bad.
Oh.
Yeah, I ended up dying just a few hours after we started. So let's try that again. We're gonna spend the next 100 days grinding out everything we need to kickstart our brand new hardcore survival world. We'll gather resources, build farms, and even put together the start of our biggest base yet. But before we can get to all of that, we first have to create our world. Alright, let's go ahead and get our first few resources out of the way, starting with getting some wood, then upgrading to stone, and then never using our wooden tools again. Now that we've got our starter materials out of the way, we decided to get started scouting out the area around spawn. And while they're busy looking around for resources, I'll be going over the game plan. Let me get over there real quick. So our perfect start in hardcore is made up of 5 different phases, ranging from basic resource collection all the way to building up some pretty powerful farms, and we're planning on completing all 5 of them within the next 100 days. For no reason in particular really, I just thought it'd be good motivation to keep things going. And so I could milk the algorithm for a few views, but I mean that's not really what's important. What is important is us actually getting started making progress in the world, and that involves finding a village. A good time. Oh. And there's the village. And after docking our boat and quickly planting the sugarcane we picked up along the way, I went to work gathering a few materials to get started building the very first farm of the world, an iron farm. This will be very important for helping us progress in our world as we keep playing, so let's get to work building it. And yes, I went with ENX04's iron farm design again. It's seriously the best iron farm because of how easy it is to build it early game. Alright, now that we've got our first iron farm up and running, we can use the remaining villagers we have to set up a quick villager breeder. This time we're going with the design by Bruno, and when I tell you this thing is tiny, I mean this thing is tiny. Which honestly, I'm glad it is because this thing was super easy to build, though it still came with its own unique set of problems. Okay, are you gonna grow up anytime soon? Baby, I'm gonna have to, could you please grow up? Why can't you be as passionate? Oh, I punched him. I'm leaving.
Now, why would
That
you
was
do
an
that?
accident. I didn't mean to. It was an accident. I promise. No one saw that, okay?
Me when I abuse a child.
While we were waiting for more villagers to spawn in, we spent our time adding in another iron farm to keep our iron supply growing. Thanks for stopping by. You really love to live dangerously, apparently. And after the next few villagers grew up, we were able to expand our mini villager breeder to increase our villager output even more, which is super important because we'll be needing a bunch of these guys very soon. Once the villager breeder was complete, I realized that I had built both the iron farms in the wrong orientation and it was really slowing down the rates. So we quickly went in and got them both fixed, which wouldn't have taken too long if we hadn't lost a villager along the way. Okay, now we just need to do the whole bed thing again. Where are they? No, where's the 3 villagers? We're missing a villager. Where, did he die? Did he kill himself?
I really hope not.
I think he just jumped into the iron farm. And with both iron farms fixed and running at full speed, we were quickly getting stacks upon stacks of iron. Now I know what you're thinking. Do you really need this much iron this early in the game? And yes, we do. Maximizing our iron production as soon as we can will be very important for us to be able to get full diamond gear as early as possible. And that's all thanks to these guys, the toolsmith, the armorer, and the weaponsmith. These 3 villagers all offer an iron trade, which means we'll be able to get emeralds just by giving these dudes a few pieces of iron. And with all of our iron farms collecting iron non-stop, we'll be able to trade all of that iron for as many emeralds as we need. And as an added bonus, after trading enough iron to these villagers, we'll be able to buy enchanted diamond tools, enchanted diamond armor, and even enchanted diamond weapons from them, all without having to venture into a single cave or having to do any actual mining for diamonds ourselves. The only thing we have to do now is wait. Yeah, right now we're pretty much only being held back by the fact that the baby villagers have to actually grow up before we can offer them a permanent position in our workplace. So while we're waiting for some of the villagers to grow up, I started up a small farm and Lee started to breed up some cows for food.
That is a lot of zombies right behind you. Oh my gosh, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out, watch out!
I'm watching.
Oh, wait, look at me.
Go on. Maybe I'll get a cat later.
There's a baby zombie behind you.
Oh my gosh, Anna has a sword. It took 4 hearts off of me. Lee, please be very careful. Get away. Use your shield. Baby zombie, come here. This is a run killer. I killed it. The next few days were all pretty much the same. Wait for the villagers to grow up, move them to their assigned pods, and start trading them iron for emeralds. The only notable things that happened were that villagers are really stupid. You. Okay, stop moving. You'll be very important, I promise. And the villager killed himself. Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh, what?
You are making me want to die. And Lee got a cat.
There we go. Yay, I got a cat.
Which immediately died.
Look at my cat. Oh, my cat. Oh, please don't kill yourself. It killed itself. Cat tried to swim in lava.
Oh my gosh. How did that happen already?
It just wanted to kill itself for some reason, you know?
I'm sorry. You have such bad luck with pets.
That was like the fastest kill I've gotten.
Oh, and iron. I can trade iron. I keep forgetting. How did this... Oh.
Huh?
You might want to pick up the string.
Why?
From your cat.
Oh.
But on the bright side, now we've got our makeshift trading hall set up. And since we've been trading with some of these dudes while we waited, some of the villagers have already unlocked their diamond tool trades. And thanks to all of that, by day 10, we were able to acquire our very first diamond tool. And while it might just be an unenchanted diamond hoe, it was a sign that we were about to start making some huge leaps in progress soon. Later that same day, after doing a bit more trading, we were able to both grab an Unbreaking 1 Efficiency 2 diamond pickaxe and axe to add to our growing collection of diamond tools. And with our newly acquired diamond tools, we went ahead and spent the next day chopping down a bunch of trees and going on our first mining expedition to grab a few basic resources. Oh, I found a diamond. Should we leave them? I'll just leave them for right now. We can always come back with Silk Touch and get them later.
Oh, I almost died.
What? How did you almost die?
I landed, I landed on the deepest part, so...
Stop trying to speed bridge. You don't need to do that if you're about to die.
Are we already going back up?
Yeah, you have more than enough redstone. I have over a stack, so I think we'll be fine. After getting back from mining, we continued to trade with our armorers to level them up until they all started offering their diamond level trades as well. And with our trading hall constantly expanding, we went ahead and built up a third iron farm just to help keep up with all the iron we were going through trading every day. Now that we had even more iron to trade with our villagers, we were able to go ahead and buy our first pieces of diamond armor, a pair of Protection 2 diamond boots, and an Aqua Affinity diamond helmet. And after trading some more iron to our villagers, we were able to get a diamond shovel and the diamond chestplate and leggings I was missing, which means we now have a full set of diamond armor and tools. Now all we have left to get is a diamond sword, and we'll have obtained every single piece of diamond gear. And so on day 15, after leveling up our weaponsmith through iron trades, we finally unlocked our diamond sword trade. And after buying one for each of us, we now have every single piece of diamond gear, which means that we have officially completed phase 1 of our perfect start. Okay, so we both have full diamond gear. Now what? Well, we have to enchant it, of course. I can't be running around with just Unbreaking 1 on my chest plate and no protection. And to do that, we're going to need to build an XP farm. And while we're at it, we'll also build a few other farms to go along with it. But before we can actually start building any of those farms, we'll have to go gather up some resources, starting with us going out to find some bamboo. Why bamboo, you ask? Well, we'll need it to make a bunch of scaffolding for the farms we'll be building later, plus the nearest jungle to us is about 1,000 blocks away, so we're just going to go ahead and get that trip out of the way now. And with our bamboo collected and growing, we're going to go ahead and move on to collecting the second largest block amount we'll need, 16 stacks of wood. We're going to skip collecting the 42 stacks of cobblestone for now because I just can't be bothered to. So let's get to chopping. All right, now we have all the wood we need. We'll go ahead and move on to getting the next few resources on our list, all of which we can get by going on a quick mining trip. After taking a quick trip back to the village to drop off our materials, grab the 6 stacks of iron we needed from our iron farms, and gather up all the bamboo that had grown while we were gone, we went back out to go collect the 2 stacks of obsidian we needed. Yeah, this won't be very fun. All right, finally, we have all the obsidian we need that literally took us 15 minutes to mine. Oh, how I miss Efficiency 5 with Haze 2. On another note, I also went ahead and grabbed a few diamonds we found under the obsidian so we could craft an enchantment table later. And with the obsidian collected, we've officially finished off the first half of our materials list. Now we'll have to move on to getting some of the harder items required for these farms. But first, back to the village so we can go ahead and drop all our materials off and do a bit more trading. And while we were trading, I realized that we could buy multiple pickaxes from our toolsmiths and combine them in an anvil to get even better enchants on them. And now that I'm thinking about it, I probably should have done this before we mined all of that obsidian. Oh well. Alright, now we're ready to start collecting some of the harder resources to get, starting off by taking a quick trip to the Nether. Me and the Nether don't really have a good history together, so I'm hoping that this goes better than most of my other Nether trips. We need to go deeper. Okay, I'm gonna break this. Thankfully though, we spawned in a soul sand valley, and other than a ghast that spawned in right next to us, we really didn't have much to worry about. So we just went ahead and boxed up our portal to keep it safe. And now that we're in the Nether, we can get started collecting the first thing we need from here, which is 3 stacks of soul sand. So we just went ahead and dug out all of the soul sand we could get from under the portal. The last thing we need from here is some nether quartz, and that was easy enough to get just by digging around in the netherrack that was left behind. I'd say that was a pretty successful nether trip. Now we can go ahead and head back to the overworld to continue gathering the next few resources. Alright, the next thing we're going to need to grab are 2 slime balls because one of the farms we'll be building needs 2 sticky pistons, and that's going to prove to be a bit of a problem. There are only 2 realistic ways for us to get slime balls, and that's either building up a slime farm in a slime chunk or waiting for slimes to spawn naturally in a swamp biome. And since building a slime farm just to get 2 slime balls doesn't really make too much sense, we're gonna go with the swamp spawning method, which seems easy enough on paper, but unfortunately the closest swamp to us is over 2,000 blocks away, so we better start boating. Alright, the sun is setting, I can see the swamp off in the distance. Hopefully this doesn't end up taking too long.
Oh, this one.
A big one? Small one?
It's like a medium one.
Here, wait, let me get over there so I can see it with you. Oh my goodness, it is a medium one. Oh my goodness.
We got 5.
Let's go. All right. Okay, now we've got all the slime balls we needed, plus a few extra. And while we were in the swamp, I also grabbed up a few lily pads and the 2 ender pearls that we needed as well, which only leaves us with 2 more items to get for us to complete the second half of the list. And luckily for us, we won't have to travel too much further to get them. All right, all we have left to get on this trip are 32 snow blocks and 7 stacks of sand. And we should be able to get that from the snowy shore right over there. And one last thing before we leave, just gonna go ahead and grab us up some spruce saplings while we're here, and now we'll head on back to base camp. And after dropping off our items and collecting a few more assorted items we needed, we were just about ready to start building up these farms. We just had one more item to collect, the 42 stacks of cobblestone, which honestly shouldn't be too bad now that we've got our pickaxes upgraded. So let's get to mining. And there we go. With each of us having collected 21 stacks of cobblestone each, we now have all the materials we need to actually start building all these farms. Lee just needs to craft up all the redstone components, and I'm in charge of smelting down all the sand into glass. And I think a perfect way to spend my time while we're waiting for all this glass to smelt is to try and get us a mending villager. So I got to work moving a villager over into its pod and prepared myself to start the long process of re-rolling for new enchants. These book trades are completely random, which means I could be stuck re-rolling enchants for minutes, even hours before I actually got my hands on a mending for 10. There's no way. I literally spent less than 2 minutes re-rolling enchants, and it's so cheap. So after going on a quick shopping spree and buying up all the mending books we'll need, I picked up the glass we finished smelting and headed back over to meet up with Lee just as he was finishing up crafting all the components we needed. And now we've got all the materials for the farms collected and crafted, which means by day 30 we were officially ready to start building these farms. I guess there's nothing left to do than get started building. Starting with the first of the 3 farms, a simple sugarcane and bamboo farm. We'll be going with the design by iCraft MC for this farm, and overall it's a pretty simple build, so let's just go ahead and breeze right through it. Alright, the farm is now complete. We'll just have it running in the background for the time being, and I'm thinking that we'll eventually replace the bamboo with more sugarcane so we can improve our sugarcane rates. Okay, so with the first of the 3 farms finished and up and running, it's time to go ahead and move on to the next one. Now you probably already know what farm we'll be building next given the previous farm we just built, but in case you haven't guessed it yet, we'll be making a creeper farm for gunpowder. And by combining the drops from our creeper farm and our sugarcane farm, we'll be able to craft infinite rockets, which will be a huge help for us when we get ourselves some elytras. This time we'll be going with a design by Mushoden, which will give us some pretty decent rates, all without us having to use any cats. Okay, so we pretty much have the entire thing completed now. The only thing that's missing is the AFK platform, but knowing how things ended the last time I tried to build it, I'm just gonna wait until we actually have our elytras to finish it up. Now that we have the creeper farm finished and added to our list of completed farms, we have one more farm left for us to build. And after going ahead and loading up the rest of our materials into our chest boats, we left as soon as we could because we're gonna be traveling over 3,000 blocks to where this farm needs to be built. And there's what we traveled all this way for, the beautiful ocean monument. That's right, the last farm we're going to be building is a Guardian XP farm, ENX04's Instant Guardian farm to be exact. This farm will get us plenty of XP levels to do all the enchanting we'll need, plus we'll get the added bonus of being able to start using the different prismarine blocks, which are some of my favorite blocks to build within Minecraft. But we can go over all of that later. Right now, it's time to build. And there we go. We now have a fully functional Guardian farm that'll get us from level 0 to 30 in less than 30 seconds. That's crazy. I also went ahead and built us up an enchanting setup since we'll probably be here for a bit. Now all we have to do is just grind out all of these enchantments. So I messed up. While we were enchanting, Lee asked if he could have a mending book. Since Guardians have the ability to use thorns against us, his armor had slowly started breaking, and he didn't want to end up losing any pieces of armor to it. And that's when I realized, somehow, me with my infinite wisdom forgot to bring the mending books. The books I had specifically gone and bought so we could bring them out with us so we'd have them while we were enchanting. Yeah. And so I left Lee to continue to enchant all of his gear while I took the boat of shame all the way back to our base to pick up the mending books. Thankfully though, that was the only hiccup we had along the way, and after a few more days of enchanting books and combining them with our gear, we both had gotten fully maxed out diamond gear. And with the farms completed and our gear enchanted, that means we've now completed phase 2 of our perfect start. And with perfect timing too, we just hit day 50, which marks the halfway point on our 100 days journey. That leaves us with 50 days left to complete the last 3 phases, so we have no time left to waste. So after gathering up a bunch of the prismarine shards and crystals, we boated our way back to the village to continue making progress in the world. Alright, we have our farms, we have our maxed out gear, we have a lot of stuff, but what we don't have is an actual base. We just have a whole bunch of random chests laying around, and that's about it. So I think it's about time that we actually get started building up a base for ourselves. But we can't just start placing blocks around all willy-nilly. If we want to make sure we can finish completing the build in time, we're going to have to go into this with a plan. And I think the best way to do that is to just hop onto a creative world with Lee and start brainstorming some build ideas. And while we were building, I had the idea to stream the process so that we could get some input from my subscribers, and I am so happy that I did. It was super fun getting feedback and ideas from everyone while we were building it, and I'll definitely be sure to do it more with other builds I design in the future. And after building for a few hours, we had finally completed the base design. I won't show too much of it because I don't want to spoil it just yet, but I think this might just be one of our best builds yet. Now that we've got the build designed, we can go in with the mod Lightmatica to get us a blueprint for the build. And using the blueprint, we can see exactly how many materials we'll need to build it. And by the looks of it, we've got a bunch of resources to collect, which means we've got a lot of work to do. Whoa, this place looks awesome. There's just a village surrounded by a lake with cherry grove mountains around it. I'm gonna grab this, thank you. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna have to build something here at some point. And before I get back to collecting more resources, I'm gonna go ahead and add a new villager to our trading hall. And by placing our newly acquired brewing stand down here, we now have access to a cleric, which means we'll be able to trade for redstone, lapis, and even ender pearls if we level them up high enough. They'll be a great addition to our trading hall. All right, it's now day 68. Lee just got back from a quick trip to grab a handful of cactus that we needed. So now we only have just a few materials left to grab before we can get to building the actual house. Starting off with all the dark prismarine blocks, which might seem like it shouldn't have been too hard to get since I had already brought a bunch of prismarine shards home with us when we left the Guardian farm, but there's one more ingredient we'll need. To craft one block of dark prismarine, you need 8 prismarine shards and 1 black dye. And since we need 8 stacks of this stuff, we're gonna have to get 8 stacks of black dye. And at the moment, there's only one way for us to get large quantities of black dye. Yeah, we've got a lot of squids to kill. Oh, and also I totally underestimated how many prismarine shards we needed, so I only brought home about half the amount I should have. So we ended up having to travel all the way back out to the Guardian farm just to grab the rest, which honestly wasn't too bad because there's a mangrove swamp not too far from the Guardian farm, and we needed to grab a few mangrove blocks for the build anyways. So now the only things we have missing from our materials list are the various warped wood blocks, which means we're taking another trip to the Nether. Okay, we just need to find the warp forest to get all the warp blocks we need and then get the heck out of here. Oh, hi. Oh, here it is. I see it.
Oh, finally.
Oh, come on. That was like right there, too. Let's go. Let's go.
Just be
let's
careful.
go.
Why would you do that?
Oops.
Why would you do that? Oh my gosh. Me what I'm stupid?
Excuse you. Here, then you deal with this ghast. All right, it's day 72. That only took us a little over 20 days to collect all the materials we needed. I'd say we kept up a pretty good pace. I also went ahead and checked out the area, and I think this spot right across the river from spawn will be the perfect place to build it. We've just got a little bit of tidying up to do. And there we go. And now all that's left for us to do is to get started building. And with our starter base complete, we've officially finished phase 3 of our perfect start. Alright, it just turned day 91, was hoping to get it done by day 90, but 91 isn't too bad either. And here's the house! I was trying to go for a big fantasy style build, and I think it turned out really well. And I'd love to talk more about this house, but we have less than 10 days before we hit day 100, and we haven't started working towards getting to the end, so we need to get a move on. Luckily for us, all we need to get to the end are some Eyes of Ender, which only requires us to collect both Ender Pearls and Blaze Powder from Blaze Rods. And since we already have a cleric in our trading hall that we can trade to get Ender Pearls from, all we have to do is get to another fortress and kill some blazes. While we were traveling through the Nether collecting the warp wood for our house, we ended up passing by another fortress, so thankfully we already know where one is, so we won't have to go out and search for one blindly. So back to the Nether we go. Oh, there we go. All right, we've got our blaze rods. Now we just need to go level up our cleric to unlock the ender pearl trade. And while we're at it, I'll level up a few more just to get some extra ender pearls just in case. We also got some enchanted bows a while ago. I couldn't find a way to fit it into the script. Okay, we should have everything we need now to go and defeat the ender dragon. So let's go find the stronghold. Two, one. And there we go. We did it. Come here, come here, come here, come here. And on day 95, with the Ender Dragon defeated, that officially completes the 4th phase of our perfect start, leaving us just 5 days to complete the final remaining phase, which means every second counts, and we can't afford to waste any time. Are you kidding me? Now I've got to go all the way back to the portal to get back to the end with you. Okay, this time we won't mess it up. You've got to be joking. Like, you've actually got to be joking. I hate this game. Finally, I'm back. I'm not even gonna try to get a screeny this time. Let's just go through that end gateway. All right then, I guess we'll just pick a random direction and head off until we find an end city with a ship. So there's an end city over there, but it doesn't look like it has a ship, so we're gonna skip it for now. Oh, I see an end city. Oh, is that a ship? There is one. Look, look, look. Do you see it off in the distance? Okay, now we just have to make our way over to it. All right, I guess we'll just go ahead and start getting everything we can out of this end city. And while we were looting the end city, Lee managed to spot another end city off in the distance that also had a ship. So we went ahead and came up with a plan. Lee will take the elytra from the first end ship, and then he'll fly over using a few of the rockets we brought and grab the elytra from the second end ship and bring it back so we can both have elytras. All right, now that we both have our elytras, we'll quickly fly over to the second end city, loot it and kill all the shulkers real quick. Nice. And now we can head home. And luckily there's an end gateway right next to the end city, so we'll just head on through. Okay, one last try. We're gonna build a wall. We're gonna try one more time. I'm getting this screeny. And as we turned around and jumped through the end portal to head home with our newly acquired elytras and shulker boxes, we had officially finished the final phase and completed all of our goals for the perfect start to our world. And since it's only day 98 and we've got a little bit of time to spare, we're gonna go ahead and tidy up the area around our base and add a few finishing touches to it. Oh, it's the sunrise day 100, Lee. Come out, come out, come out. Day 100. And we did it, we did it.
Yeah.
And as we watched the sunrise above the mountains across the river from our base, we had officially finished what we had set out to do. We had gathered resources, set up farms, built ourselves a base, defeated the Ender Dragon, and acquired new gear to help us survive for thousands of days to come. All in just 100 days. Who knows what else we're capable of doing? I guess you'll just have to wait and see. Hey, just wanted to stop by real quick and say thank you so much for watching. This video took us over a month to plan out and edit, so if you've made it this far, maybe consider subscribing. I've got some huge plans for the world going forward, and I would love to have you there to see it. We also recently hit 10K subscribers, which is just insane. So thank you. Now on to 20K. I want to give a huge shout out to Lee for sitting through about 33 hours of gameplay to help me make this. If you want to see more of the series from his perspective, you should totally go and follow his Twitch page where he'll be streaming all the work he does on the hardcore world. I also want to give a huge shout out to my sister for helping me with all the motion graphic work for the video. It seriously wouldn't look half as good without it. Lastly, I want to say thank you to all my Patreon supporters and channel members over the last few months. You all help make videos like these possible. All right, that's enough of that. I hope to see you all in the next one and have an amazing day.